Sometimes we feel that we love a person, but what we love is the concept of them. What we love is the idea of what they could bring us. What we love is this fantasy that we built in our head that we've now tied to this person. That's not love. That's addiction. That's fantasy. That's self-deception. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mystic Temple Spirituality for a New Age. I'm Monica Bay, also known as the Divine Mother, and I am here to bring you truth. So, today we have a great passage. We're going to really dive deep into this passage because it is, again, as always, layered with meaning. And get your notebooks out because this one, I need you guys to take notes, okay? You need to apply this to your life, all right? So, we're just going to jump right into the passage for today from the Book of Rasheeda, which was received February 3rd, 2016. And it is as follows. Love cannot live or gain in strength without the need for wanting, and that desire comes from someplace deeper. It is our birthright on this physical plane. None other offers such reverence. In none other can we be so pulled by this force that enwraps us and controls us to the very edge of our being. This force has the power to enliven us or destroy us, and that is the challenge of this game. Which will you allow it to do to you? How will you handle it and circumstance while still striving toward your goals of your path? Will you allow yourself to be put off or deterred from the path? This skillful maneuvering through the maze separates those who play well and those who do not. Ooh, we are bringing the heat today. So we're going to unpack that entire passage and make that make sense to you. Some of it, I'm sure, already makes sense, but we're going to dive deeper and deeper into those issues. First of all, this passage is bringing to your face the reality of the duality of love, the dual nature of love, the light and the dark side of love. When we think of love, we think of, ooh, warm and fuzzy feelings. But this passage is really depicting and showing the full facet of love and bringing this to your attention for a purpose so that you can apply these things to your life. Because one thing we don't understand a lot of times is that there is a dark side to love. And that dark side is that desire that then can turn into negative aspects that can then come when it says it comes from a deeper place. Let's talk about that duality of that deeper place. When it comes from a deeper place, that means deep within you. Deep within you, that desire comes from a deeper place within you. Love cannot exist without the growth of that desire. Okay? And more specifically, it states verbatim, love cannot live or gain in strength without the need for wanting, and that desire comes from a deeper place. So, where is that deeper place? That deeper place is within you. That deeper place is within you. But when we're talking about the duality of that, the deeper place within you is either coming from pure love that exists within us. We all have love within us. We all are love. That is a primal force that is within us, right? But sometimes our expression of love, sometimes love itself for something in this physical plane, our desire for something may come from a deeper place, but that deeper place may be negative. That deeper place may be from trauma. That deeper place may be from drama. That deeper place may be from negative experiences that you've had. That deeper place may be from wanting to control things, from a desire to have love because you lacked love before. There's a whole lot of reasons why love can come from a negative. We'll call that negative just because it has a negative vibration. Trauma is not a good vibration, right? We'll put that into the category of a negative vibration. So we're calling that from a negative space. That's the dark side. That's the shadow side of love. So this passage is really talking about that duality where it comes from deep within us, but we have to pay attention to where that love is coming from. When we are in situations, it says when you are in your circumstances, when we are in situations in our life, where is this love, where is this drive, this desire coming from? These are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. And the passage happens to ask you very specific questions as well. But before we get into those questions, I also want to highlight that it says it is our birthright in this physical plane, meaning that love is part of our human experience. We talked many, many times in previous divinity sessions about the duality of our nature here as human beings in this human existence, how we have human suffering, how we have wonderful love, how we have wonderful things happening, right? We have good experiences and we have experiences that we ascribe to being negative experiences because of our perspective of those experiences. But in actuality, everything just is. Okay, so, but when we're talking about love and we're talking about how that is our birthright, love is within us. We always say happiness, or I always say, hopefully you say it too, happiness is within. We always look outside of ourselves for happiness. And guess what? We look outside of ourselves for love too. So this passage, we're going to break it down because it goes into several things, but it's also talking about self-love. It's also talking about self-love, that love within ourselves, that we already that embodiment already exists as long as we allow it to exist, as long as we allow it to flourish. Now, why is love a part of the human experience? Why is it such an integral part of the human experience? Because it allows us to connect with other beings. Remember, we have this illusion of separation. We're really connecting more with ourselves. Think about that, people. Think about that. We're really, you see that drop? I dropped that. So when we're connecting with other people, we are really connecting more with ourselves because we are all the same light separated in this illusion in individual beings, but we are all one. Okay? So when the experience of love in this illusionary state of this physical plane and this physical existence, this human experience, is to allow us to connect more with other beings, human and non-human, right? As well as spiritual existence. It allows us to connect because the vibration of love itself flows through us. And in fact, we are that vibration. That is one of the elements of the light that flows through us. There's many different vibrations in that light. Love is a major vibration in that light. But the way we experience love here as human beings on this in this physical existence is slightly different than the way that love exists outside of this realm. When we move on into the afterlife and our soul comes back into the remembrance of who we are, that experience of love is very, very different. And some of you who have done some of the more extreme psychedelics and things like that, who have been able to experience that. And by the way, you don't have to do psychedelics to experience that, but I'm relating to some of the people who I'm sure are watching this who have gone through some of those experiences and you've actually experienced that vibration of love. It feels very different than the vibration of love that you experience here on this earth. And it's because the vibration of love we experience on this earth has this duality. And the passage clearly states, the Book of Rasheeda clearly states in this passage that that is the name of the game. That is part of the challenge of this game, is to go through this experience, having both aspects of that love and how it tugs on you, how it tugs on you. And also, it says it has the power to enliven us or destroy us. So, which will you allow it to do? How does it enliven us? Obviously, it enlivens us because it feels good when we are in love. And again, by the way, this is not just referring to romantic love. I'm going to dive into that in a second too. But in love in general, I'll just use romantic love because everyone knows what that feels like. So when we are in romantic love, we it feels good, right? That enlivens us. Also, when we have a passion for something, when we have a love for something, that enlivens us. It brings us alive. When we are striving towards our purpose, that is a form of love. That really, really enlivens us, right? And then the other side of that is destruction. How love can destroy us. And many of you have had examples in your life that you can relate to this, where you know that this has happened to you or in your life, in your experience, where you have allowed the vibration of love to actually begin to destroy you or deter you from your path. In this passage, it states, will you allow yourself to be put off or deterred from your path? The skillful maneuvering through this maze separates those who play well and those who do not. Okay? So let's talk about how we react negatively, or how we can be experiencing those negative aspects of love, and how where it comes from a deeper place, how that could be rooted in something very negative and then play itself out in a negative way that can then deter us from our path. I'm going to give you an example, non-romantic. Parenting, okay? Parenting. Many parents trust me as a healer and a life coach and a hypnotist and all the things that I am. I get so many clients that come to me that have been messed up by their parents, okay? So, this is why this is very important, but I really want all of you to really listen hard today, okay? Listen very, very hard and take notes. Because parents mess up their children. Why do they start to mess up their children? Or, and I say mess up, and I'm using that loosely, but it's really creating more trauma, or creating personality types that have negative aspects that then, as adults, they have to work through to fight against. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. A parent who was never able to do anything. Their parents were super, super strict. They may grow up and be completely rebellious just because of the fact that their parents were so strict. And then when they have children, they may want to give their children all the freedom in the world because they didn't have that freedom. And then what happens? Because they go to an extreme, that is love. That's a form of love. You love your child so much that you want to give them what you didn't have. And a lot of times when you do that, you're overindulging in that, right? You're going way, way overboard. Instead of staying in the middle, you're going all the way right or left on that. Okay. And so if you give your child, say you're letting them be free and do whatever they want, now they have no structure. Now they don't know what it's like to hear no, right? They grow up and be a spoiled brat or a Karen, okay? So I'm bringing you truth, okay? I'm bringing you truth. So this is this is why it's important to understand the ramifications of negative aspects of love that you may be bringing to your children. Another example would be obviously relationships. When you have when you love someone so much, love can oftentimes turn into fear, and that's the same with the parenting example that I gave. Love on the negative side, the shadow side of love, often turns into fear. And you love something, you desire something so much that you're afraid to let it go. You're afraid for it to escape. So you do all kinds of things. You make all kinds of bad decisions, especially in relationships. You make all kinds of you know who I'm talking to you. You make all kinds of bad decisions because out of fear of losing this person because of that love. And sometimes it's not love, and this is the lesson here too. This is a major part of the lesson. Sometimes it's not actually love, and this is why you have to pay attention to the deeper place that it comes from. Sometimes we feel that we love a person, but what we love is the concept of them. What we love is the idea of what they could bring us. What we love is this fantasy that we built in our head that we've now tied to this person. That's not love. That's addiction. That's fantasy. That's self-deception. That's what that is. And these are the dark sides of love that this is referring to. And back to the parenting really quick. On the opposite side of that, for those of you who are thinking like, oh, I don't let my child do anything, I'm very strict with them. Let me tell you what the negative sides of that are. Okay. Again, we don't want to be all the way over here, over here. We want to be in the middle. This is why we do this. We want to be in the middle. Why? Because too much of anything is not good. And that's what this is also referring to. So in a parenting example where you are so strict and you coddle your child and you don't let them do anything, or you do everything for them, what happens is they grow up being someone who doesn't know how to manage themselves in the real world, someone who expects handouts everywhere because they've never had to do anything themselves. So these are the negative aspects of the remember, everything is cause and effect. So the cause, which is the love that you had, and you do that from a good space in terms of your intentions, but it ends up causing a negative effect. But in actuality, it's really coming from a negative space. It's coming from a fear. It's coming from a desire to live through your child. So at the end of the day, it's really important for you to understand the power, the true power of this vibration of love that exists within us, that we cultivate within us, that exists within our human experience. It's really important that you really truly understand the power of that. It can enliven us or destroy us. And obviously, you don't want it to destroy you. So that's why the Book of Rasheeda is asking those questions. Which will you allow it to do to you? How to make sure that it doesn't destroy you is to ensure that when you are experiencing love, when you are giving love, when you are receiving love, that it is coming from and to the right place, because everything comes from a deeper place. That's what the Book of Rasheeda says. It comes from a deeper place. So is that deeper place your traumas, your dramas, your ego? Or is that deeper place love, acceptance, openness, allowance, and freedom? So these are the different things that can affect our human experience and can what affect our human suffering. And so the experience of love, the reason why that is one of the challenges of the game is because while we have all these things going on, we have our emotions, we have our minds, we have people over here, we have all these things happening in our lives. We're maneuvering through. We got obstacles coming at us in every direction, right? And then there's love, okay, which can snatch us up, get us caught up and distracted. And I'm not saying, by the way, that this passage is really more talking about the cautions of the darker side of love, but obviously we also want to celebrate the lighter sides of love. Love is great. We love love. The feeling of love is wonderful, but it's very, very important that the caution that this is giving you is to be mindful of what's going on inside of you. And that was also from another passage, mindfulness. Mindfulness is so important, just to be aware, self-aware of what's happening inside of you. And one of the best ways, I always tell you guys to do that, is meditation. Another way, shamanic journeying. Another way, lucid dreaming. And there's so many different ways. But it is important when you recognize that something is coming from a place of trauma, that you heal from that trauma. We talked a lot about healing in a previous divinity session. I think that was divinity session number 8 and 9. And healing is really, really, really important. Why? Because if you are not healed, if you have these traumas inside of you, they are springboards for everything, including love, including desire. We'll talk about desire for a moment, because desire can create crazy things in our lives. Desire can becomes a spirit inside of us. And if it's rooted in something negative or spawned or triggering something negative, it can turn into a beast inside of us. It can start to control us. It can start make us do things that we normally wouldn't do because of our desire, and which turns into a desperation. These are negative aspects of love that we want to avoid, that we want to make sure that we can move through our life with less. Now, are you going to move through life with this never happening? No, because many of you have already had experiences that you can, I'm sure, identify with, that where this has happened. You were in a relationship, you knew it wasn't right for you, you stayed in anyway because you thought you weren't going to be able to get anyone else, or you just didn't want to start over, or whatever, whatever reason, or you became desperate, you became obsessed with a person. Okay, these are the negative aspects of love that we definitely, definitely want to avoid. Why? Because one, it's negative, not a good feeling. Two, it actually deters us from our path, because while we are obsessed over here, we are not focused over here. What is obsession? Obsession is all of your focus is here. That's what obsession is. All of your focus is here. It's not like, okay, I'm focused here, I'm focused here. No, everything is right here. That's an obsession. Okay? So you need to not be obsessed, and you want to be able to be focused on your path. You want to be able to take that focus and put it towards your path so that you are not deterred. And again, this is the name of the game. We have obstacles that are thrown in our path as we are moving through this human experience. And so, are you going to allow this experience, this additional obstacle that we have, which is a big one, of love? Are we going to allow those negative aspects to run us? Or are we going to heal, not accept, or not allow, okay, those negative aspects and only focus on those positive aspects of love? Having that dual nature, having the discernment of knowing which you are doing, that is key. Again, mindfulness, understanding where your emotions, where your actions, where your reactions are coming from. Because a lot of times when we think we are protecting someone, that is a form of love. It's coming from a negative space. It's not about who you're protecting. It's about you. It's about your traumas. It's about your fears. It's about all these other things. Okay? Unless someone's actually going after them with a knife or something right now, that is protection. But a lot of times that's not how we're protecting people, because we don't, most of us don't live in a world where lions are coming after us, and people are coming after us with knives and stuff. We live in a world with unseen dangers, dangers that are in here. Okay, and uh, our effort and desire to protect another person with love, we end up coddling them. We end up uh, um, enabling them. We end up pushing them away. There's a whole lot of different things that can happen when you're doing that. And again, it's coming from a negative space. We can end up damaging a person because of what we think we're doing to protect them. So again, pay attention to where things are actually coming from. And that is the major message today. It can either enliven you or it can destroy you. So, another example of how love the darker side of love can affect, say, in like a romantic relationship, is some people, and I know many of you watching, watching right now can relate to this, who have been hurt in the past by love, right? You weren't hurt by love, you were hurt by the actions of another person, or somehow their actions of another person. So that hurt you. You internalized that, and it created trauma inside of you. And now some of you just, I don't want to fall in love. I don't want a relationship. Screw that, whatever. And then you start to push away the beautiful vibration of love. Again, that is a negative shadow side of love, denying the essence of love. Doesn't do you any good. That ends up destroying you instead of enlivening you. Why? Because this is the nature of our being. This is our birthright. This is divinity. This is destiny. Love is part of our destiny. So if you deny a part of that, you're denying a part of you. You're denying your soul a part of the experience that it came here to experience. So I know some of you right now need to hear that. Some of you who have been building up walls because of past hurts and experiences, understand that we are only a sum of our experiences and our reactions to those experiences. So remember, we talked before about choosing the light path. Your reactions to your experiences may have been negative. You reacted to that experience by internalizing it. You reacted to that experience by saying, what does that say about me? Oh no, this person is doing this to me, me. And you're internalizing all of that, when really whatever that person did was about them. Wasn't about you, but you internalize it. That's your reaction to that experience. That creates a trauma. And then now everything that happens after that, what do we do as human beings is we try to avoid pain. We are wired that way. That's biology. We are wired to avoid pain. So when someone hurts us, and we had such an immense feeling of love in that experience, we then start to associate negativity with the experience of love, which is the shadow side of love. That is when love begins to destroy you, because now you again start to deny yourself the beautiful experience that you're here to experience. That's part of the human experience, is love. That's why it's here. Everything in our experience that exists for a reason. Everything. So understand that and remember that. Hope you guys are taking notes, okay? Now, how to apply these things to your life. Pay attention when you are reacting to something, when you are having a feeling of love. The most important thing, and I'm a Virgo, so I do this naturally. I'm also a life path number 7, so I do this naturally. Ask questions. Question everything, okay? Question where things are coming from. Why are you feeling this way? Why do you think this way? Why do you have an immediate rejection of that? Is that coming from a deeper place in terms of your intuition? That's a good thing. Or is it coming from a deeper place in terms of trauma? That's not a good thing, right? So when you see those things, and you will see many of those things, when you see things are coming from trauma, then it's time to work towards healing that. Don't just accept it and say, you can accept it that it exists, that type of acceptance, yes, but we're not going to accept it in terms of this is how we are just going to be. Oh, that's just how I am. A lot of you say that. Oh, that's just how I am. No, that's how you currently are. That is not how you are. That is not all of who you are, okay? Your experiences create your personality traits. Your experiences create your actions and reactions to things. They are not who you are. Okay? Understand that your experiences are not who you are. Who you are is a being of light that is a blank slate. That's who you are. Everything else that happens in this life is programming. And guess what can happen with programming? It can be deprogrammed. Okay? So, any of you that go around saying, oh, this is just who I am, that's how I am, and I'm not going to change, and that's just who I am. No, you should be striving, and this is what the Book of Rasheeda is talking about. You should be striving to evolve past those traumas, not taking them with you, not just accepting that as a fact for the rest of your life. This is how you're going to be. Oh, this triggers me. That's just a trigger that I'm always going to have. No, you can undo that trigger. You can undo that trigger. So, healing, and we talked about that already, healing is very, very important. And you can heal through many, many ways. Going to talk to someone, whether that's a life coach or a therapist or your best friend or whatever, that's another part to start healing. But again, like I said before, when it comes to deep trauma, and I'm talking about deep trauma, trauma that's reluctant, this is just how I am. That's trauma that's reluctant, in case you don't know. This is just how I am. That is reluctant trauma. When it comes to reluctant trauma, any form of energy healing, I won't say any, it has to be a very strong form of energy healing is what's necessary. You have to remove that energy, or else it's still going to be there no matter what you do. The energy has to be removed. So there's many, many ways of doing energy healing. As you guys know, I'm a healer. There are many of you are healers yourselves. And sometimes it's hard to heal yourself, so you may need to go to someone else to be healed. If you're able to heal yourself, and everyone can heal themselves, by the way, but some people find it harder to do that just because it's more at stake, and you're like, oh my God. So that's something that people do. But healing is really, really important. It's important that when you notice that you have some trauma, do something about it. Don't just let it sit, because the longer trauma festers, as a healer, I can tell you this because I see it. One, I saw it in myself when I had to heal myself years ago, but I also see it in every other client. The longer you allow trauma to remain and fester, the more problems it causes, and the stronger it gets, the more hold it has over you. When I'm healing someone, I can look at their trauma energy inside and tell how long it's been there. I can say, oh, this is just surface stuff. This is just stuff you're going through right now. Oh, this is something that you've held on for a long time, because I can not only can I see like from when it is because of my psychic ability, but I can also just tell by the strength of the energy how long it's been there, because it gains in strength the longer it gets there. So my point to you in saying all of this is that now is the time. This isn't something to wait for later. If you know you need healing, heal now. Start the process. However you need to do that, in whatever budget you're in, whatever environment you're in, there is no excuse to not heal. There is no excuse to not heal, because there's millions of ways to do it. Okay? So, and I'm going to offer more and more of that through these divinity sessions, because I realize that that is something that a lot of people are very new to and don't really fully understand, because there's a lot of fluff out there on the internet. talking about healing and all this. There's a lot of fluff out there. So I am going to start to incorporate some of this stuff into these divinity sessions because one of the major points of the Book of Rasheeda is to provide you that passageway, to provide you that passageway to not only healing, but to evolving, thriving, and striving toward your purpose and toward your divinity and understanding your divinity. That is what this is all about. So, another thing, this cosmic collective consciousness has been giving me a set of steps, and they're not done yet. But once they are, it's going to be an entire program, an entire pathway to enlightenment. And so I have most of it, but they're still giving it to me. So once it's ready, I will roll that out to you, and all of you who are watching, it will be free for you, and we will take you through that because this is something that's super super important and necessary as we move into this new world. Okay, so in conclusion, the passage today reminding you or bringing to your attention, in case you didn't realize, the duality of the vibration of love and making sure that you are on the lighter side of that vibration, not on the shadow side, not allowing it to ruin your life, not allowing it to deter you from your path, because it is an obstacle. Just like in a video game, there's obstacles that are put in your path and you got to dodge them and move around or whatever you have to do, right? That's what the dark side, the shadow side of love is in this what they call a game. Okay? So that's what's going on, and it's important that you remember that and that you stay present in your life, present in every moment of every day, as the Book of Rasheeda states. Remain present and stay focused on your path and stay focused on what's going on inside of you because knowledge is power. Okay, and with that, I'm going to now speak light and love, definitely love, into you right now using the divine language. Okay. Zatalote vectusos. Zatalote vectusos. Bikosa. Bikosa zatalote. Zatalote bikosa. Vectusos. Ume vectusos. Ume sabisos. Ume sabisos vectusos. Zatalote, Zatalote, Zatalote Ishne, Ishne, Ishna, 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 Ume, Zatalote. Ume zotalote bikosa, eshna popo eshna sha, eshna po eshna sha. And with that, we're now going to do a small prayer in the divine language, which essentially means peace be unto you. Zor Kumti. And I'll see you next time.
In the depths of my soul lies a hidden treasure. Power untapped, the light that's bound to measure. I dive within.